Alright guys, so if you are watching this video on Weatherman's channel, then you may be confused.
Today I met with Davedabedil, and we're going to see who can find the best dumpster PC.
The rules are, we can add any SSD we want, as they will not improve performance much, and most free PCs will not come with a hard drive anyways.
We can also clean up and replace the thermal paste on our systems, as it improves system health and temperatures.
May the best PC win, and let's roll the specs of our dumpster PCs.
The best PC I could pull from a dumpster was an HP Z240 small form factor with an i5 6500. A 65 watt, 4-core, 4-thread CPU with a base clock of 3.2 GHz and a boost of 3.6 GHz, which comes with Intel HD 530, and it supports DirectX 12.1 and OpenGL 4.6. The PC also came with 16 GB of DDR4 and dual channel running at 2133 MHz.
Alright, so as for my PC, I have 16 gigabytes of DDR3 1600 MHz dual channel RAM, alright? It's pretty decent. CPU wise, we have the i7 3770, which is running at 3.4 GHz and boosts up to 3.9 GHz. This means that a single core will boost up to 3.9 GHz in single core loads. And in terms of the core and thread count, we have 4 cores and 8 threads, which is obviously means it has hyper-threading. Storage wise, we have a 500 GB SATA 3 SSD, which I did put in there, but we are allowed to do that, alright? That's what Weatherman did as well. And GPU wise, we have the Intel HD 4000, which, yeah, this is going to be the part that's going to hold us back. This is going to be the one part that's going to determine, well, obviously his CPU is not as strong as my CPU, but his GPU is much, much better, considering it also has full DirectX 12 support. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see if his CPU is going to hold him back enough to where I can beat him, but that's probably not going to be the case in most games, other than Minecraft maybe. But yeah, let's go ahead and get on with the benchmarks. Alright, so in terms of general usage, both our PCs are able to handle 4K 60 FPS video playback on YouTube perfectly fine, alright? No stutters whatsoever. And they can also load in simultaneous YouTube tabs at the same time, thanks to their relatively modern quad-core Intel processors, alright? Even if they are from the dark ages. And in terms of in terms of 8K, they both struggle heavily with 8K, but overall, it's a decent experience, alright? Anyways, let's get on with the gaming benchmarks for both of our systems, shall we?
Starting off here with the demanding BeamNG drive on 720p lowest settings on GridMap V2, we see an average of 17 FPS, which would fluctuate at around 14 to 20 FPS depending on what you're looking at, with highs up to 26 FPS rarely. The 1% lows are down to 8 FPS. There is a lot of input latency, so it ends up feeling rather sluggish. If we were to drop the resolution further, it might be a better experience.
On my system, however, BeamNG was running at 720p with the lowest of low settings, which is the same as Weatherman. The game was not playable at 720p, as the game achieved a non-playable average of 14 FPS, 1% lows down to 10, when things got rough. More intensive maps or vehicles could drop the FPS down to single digits. Overall, BeamNG is not playable on this dumpster PC at 720p, which is honestly kind of sad.
Next up is Half-Life 2 at 720p highest settings, no anti-aliasing or anisotropic filtering. We saw an average of 160 FPS. The high was 270 FPS, which would happen indoors. 1%/0.1% lows are a terrible 0.3 FPS, but that only happens when the game is loading the next area momentarily, so you will not really notice it. Very playable.
How did my system run Half-Life 2? Well, I need you to take the FPS figures on the preview with a grain of salt, as this was one of the more easier to run areas. I reran the benchmarks in the same area as Weatherman did, and at 720p with the maximum settings without anti-aliasing or anisotropic filtering, whatever it's called, we achieved a high refresh rate experience of over 127 FPS on average, with 1% lows down to a nice 69 FPS. Overall, the performance in this game was really close, but are playable on both of our systems regardless. Next up, we have Gary's mod here. My preview footage, once again, is a little inaccurate, but the results are accurate. At 720p with the max settings, with no anti-aliasing or anisotropic filtering, we got a solid average of 61 FPS with 1% lows down to 54. More intensive maps or activities will drop the frame rates, but overall is very, very playable. On to Weatherman's benchmark.
As for another source game, we have Gary's mod in 720p highest settings without anti-aliasing or anti-strophic filtering on the GM Construct map. We saw an average of 71 FPS, a high of 109, and the 1% low of 44. Granted, there wasn't much going on the map, so performance could be worse, but you could play it just fine.
Next up, with a new benchmark for me, Halo the Master Chief Collection running at 720p with the lowest settings was actually kind of playable for me, which is quite surprising. Averages of 42 FPS, 1% lows down to 31 was pretty acceptable, especially considering this computer. The game still looks alright with these settings, although the game did stutter a bit due to lack of driver optimizations, as reflecting our 1% lows, which were 10 less than our actual average, which in a total of 40 it does make a big difference. But overall, Halo the Master Chief Collection was playable. On to Weatherman's benchmark.
What about a first-person shooter? Here is Halo Reach on the Exodus mission, running in 720p lowest settings. The average frame rate was 59 FPS. The highest we saw was 105 FPS. The 1% low was 33, and the 0.1% low was 22, which overall was a pretty good experience. Indoors, you could see 60 to 90 FPS, and outside would usually be in the mid-40 range. The game stressed the CPU more than I expected at around 80 to 90%, but still an iGPU limiting factor. Most people want to play some Minecraft from time to time, so here's how that goes on this PC. You're playing Minecraft Java, Vanilla, version 1.21.10 in 1080p with 8 chunks of render distance on fast graphics settings. On average, we got 45 FPS. Highest was 90 FPS without doing something like looking at the sky. Anytime it has to load chunks, the FPS stutters a lot, making the 1% low 2.6 FPS and 0.1% 1.5. When the game isn't loading chunks, you'll usually be in the 45 to 60 FPS range. Having a lot of mobs or blowing up stuff with TNT like I do here with a 5x5 block will lag the game some. This should be good enough for most casual players.
Minecraft Java is the first and only game where my PC takes the win for having a better processor, as it is a processor-dependent game. The game is running at 1080p windowed mode, with 8 chunks of render distance and the fast graphics enabled, as full screen would just crash the system. Averages of 87, 1% lows down to 43 meant that it was playable, although a tad stuttery, but it was much better than Weatherman's, thanks to my i7. There was a decent amount of stutter, but unfortunately, my CPU was so decent that the IG was actually bottlenecking at times, which is kind of insane. Generating chunks obviously will cause there to be more stutters, and sodium is obviously recommended, as this is just vanilla what we're benchmarking right now. But overall, Minecraft ran really, really well on both of our systems, and it was really playable, even with some TNT explosions.
The next game we'll be trying is Oblivion. It is on 720p medium settings, because high settings don't seem to work with the latest Intel drivers for Intel HD 530. All it shows is a black screen game. We see an average frame rate of 167. You will see a lot of around 80 FPS in normal gameplay. The high was 501, but that only happens in the menu, so the highest you really see in gameplay is around 180 to 200 FPS. The 1% low was 59, and 0.1% of 24. Kind of overkill for this iGPU on those settings and resolution.
How well does my system perform in Oblivion? Well, not even close to as good as Weatherman's PC. The game is running at 720p with the medium settings just like Weatherman, but saw significantly less frame rate. Averages of 84 and 1% lows down to 54, but this was taken inside, which, yeah. When outside in towns or cities, you could see FPS dip below to 60 occasionally, which is kind of absurd for this game and this PC. The game was overall very smooth and playable, however the FPS never went below 30. On to the next benchmark. Last benchmark of the day, can my PC run Crysis? Well, at 720p low settings, it can. Crysis was running in the DX10 mode as MSI Afterburner finally fixed their issue with Crysis, and the game is running very, very smoothly. Shockingly, my PC didn't get destroyed in this game, as it is more of a GPU intensive game, and I have a much weaker GPU, as you guys know, but a slightly stronger CPU. Averages of 65 FPS and 1% lows down to 46 were shocking, as there was never any optimizations from Intel, driver optimizations, and yeah, it's just crazy that it's even running this well, even at 720p low on this PC. Overall, this is very playable on this dumpster PC, and yes, it can run Crysis.
But finally, can it run Crysis? You bet it can, in DirectX 10 720p all-glow settings, that is. With an average of 72 FPS, high of 125 FPS, 1% lows of 3 FPS, and 0.1% 1 FPS. Those extreme lows were rather rare, so generally the gameplay is just fine. Some areas can see around 40 to 50 FPS, as opposed to the average when a lot of stuff's going on. The FPS variation isn't ideal. It's not the most stable result, but you could play the game alright.
Overall, both our PCs performed really well and above expectations for dumpster-found PCs.
My PC was able to outperform Davedabedil's PC thanks to a more modern iGPU and DDR4 RAM.
But my PC was able to beat Weatherman's PC in Minecraft thanks to hyperthreading.
In terms of CPU Z-scores, my PC scored 18 points higher in single-core performance,
while I scored 391 points higher in multi-core performance.
Thanks to Davedabedil for collabing with me.
Right back at you, Weatherman. This was certainly a very interesting experience.
Anyways, make sure to like
and subscribe to both of our channels.
See you guys in the next one.
Alright.